We just so happened to get them in the studio today. Harvey and Monty, welcome.
Hello, Joy listeners.
Now, there's so much to talk to you about because we've got you in here. You're a band, and you're doing incredible things, and you've got so much stuff happening. But we want to talk about the art of what you're doing. So, Harvey, let's start with you. Where did music come into your life, and this whole style thing that you've got going?
Probably through the form of music television. I grew up at a young age with cable TV. I think I came home from school in winter of 1996. I was in grade 2 and Mum surprised us with cable television. Back then, the now defunct Channel V station was actually called Red. And there, instead of cartoons, when I would come home, watch music television. And I love the form of a video clip because the attention span, people usually describe this as the rage effect. Attention span is 3.5 minutes long, and you'll watch one and then, watch another. And it's this perfect little concise art form where you can see the visual, not get too bored, and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah,
You also get the
rage effect, is that actually a thing? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I think we did some work with there was a recent Rage 20 year or 50, I don't know how long it's going, some anniversary, and we discussed this, and we learnt there it was called the rage effect is what people describe it as.
There you go.
So you always, I'll stay up for one more.
Yeah.
Then,
So do bands like Eurythmics, who were groundbreaking in their day, with how video became such an important part of their... it wasn't just music, which was brilliant music, but they were actually doing their whole album as a video, and you could buy it as a VHS.
Yeah, well, we like to call it a multi-sensory experience. So from the performance at the show to what we wear to the video to the narrative within. There's something to explore everywhere.
And each person takes from it what they will. For instance, my mum has only ever seen us play live once, but for her, she loves the videos and the online content or the outfits. She gets so excited by that. But other people might just like us live, and then other people might just like the videos. So, I mean, you can take what you will. First and foremostly, we tend to preface the music, but we like the idea that you can take what you want and leave what you don't.
So, Monty, are you a trained musician?
Somewhat. I came from a theatre background.
Okay.
And then, so I was doing a lot of theatre at school, and then I did a lot of film at university. And I never imagined all those multiple things coming together into one project, but they kind of did. So.
Yeah. And how did you guys meet?
We went to school together, but we're a few years apart, and I was good friends with Harvey's brother, and Harvey was often around, and then it was when computers had just come and people were just starting to make music on computers, and everyone was making their own beats, and then Harvey's beats were definitely the freshest. And so
Monty's sung on it. It was neat in the sense it wasn't we were young and ignorant, and I like to make music on the computer, and then I singing's not my thing, and I learned that quite quickly. And Monty was about, so it was cool. It was and he just jumped on the track, and then a synergy was born. So
how ballpark, when are we talking time wise?
2010.
Yeah. So it's not that long ago.
Our first song was in 2012.
Yeah.
But it took us a long time because we're learning the craft. We're learning how to produce and write songs. So we'd work on one song for 6 months kind of thing. And I mean, I hope we're a lot faster. And
as you've kind of, gained success, whatever that is, do you still like to kind of make the music on the computer, or are other people kind of helping you with that?
we work with producers now.
Yeah.
But we, more so songwriters, we still come up with the ideas, but we have a lot of people around us to help facilitate it.
So it's a lot. Yeah, we've found it's worked well recently with a third person in the room, and you book out a studio and you just have to come home with something. Yeah. Otherwise, we just go in circles, and we still do stuff just together and on our own, and always open to ideas. But we like the idea that Client Liaison is open source, and our friends can collaborate and be part of it and join into the philosophy and the narrative.
And talking about that, the philosophy, where did that come from? Where did your whole look and the vibe that you guys have created?
Well, I was quite into Australiana. Our first song, End of the Earth, is kind of a picture of retro Australia and what Australia is about. And Harvey, we were both at art school actually, at different art schools, and Harvey was handing in client liaison material for his work, which had a kind of...
It's like a businessman, sort of plutocrats, the kind of Skase, Alan Bond, these great Australian figures, you know, that tie back into the name, of course, client liaison. And you think of client liaison, it's being out at lunch with cocktails, schmoozing. So it's kind of all our interests just came together, and you know, it's it was how does one say, it was uncalculated.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought that was totally
well. It's
planned.
like, for instance, Monty's the first song we did, "End of the Earth." You know, Monty. It's not like we had this vision for client liaison. He just kind of presented.
I don't think we were called client liaison when we did that song.
Yeah, maybe.
When we wrote it.
Yeah,
it was very early days, but yeah, it was not calculated at all. It was just shared interests, and that's where the sound came from as well, because we both like that kind of late '80s, early '90s sound. And Harvey introduced me to dance music, and I introduced Harvey to Prince, and so that kind of is a combination of those things. So,
right?
Because that's what works best when you have a shared interest.
And how successful have you been chart-wise, and has it worked on that?
No, I mean, we always say we're too pop to be underground and too underground to be pop. And we like that space. Yeah. So and we like that our music has multiple layers, and so you could just go, "Oh, that's a banging beat." Or you could go, "Wow, what the hell is that about?" And it has a deeper meaning to it, and a visual element, and a whole world that you can become part of.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, we want to access, be open to as many people as possible, and be accessible.
Yep.
But we're world domination isn't quite there yet.
And are you touring overseas?
Yes, we've been in Europe. We just came back a few weeks ago, but we've been there like maybe 4 times in the last 6 months or so.
Because I can see the Europeans loving what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like starting again though. So you got to build it from scratch and build up the relationships with labels and develop audiences and stuff. But it's great. Now
the biggest problem with the music industry these days is that it's so it's dominated with like TV shows trying to produce artists, and that still doesn't seem to work, and the money isn't there with the record companies like it used to be. I could
Although
imagine
that's changing in a way. They're getting their money's coming back for streaming,
again, which is nice to see. But I reckon, like 20 years ago, that you would have been riding the crest of the wave now because of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. So off the back of that, I have this new little theory I've been considering for the past couple of weeks, and that is that the local is the new global. And that it's just a kind of response to the fact that everything's so disseminated these days with the media and the way we connect, that trying to cut through globally is just like banging your head against the wall. I mean, you can do it, but just rather focus on your community, focus on those around you. And if that rises to the top globally, then so be it. But this pursuit of global, stardom is something that I make sure I don't pay too much attention to that. I just want to do the best here.
Yeah, but the thing is though that through the internet and social media, you are exposed to the world now. Like people would be picking up on you.
Yeah, I don't think we'd exist in the same way because we started through YouTube, and our music videos being shared on Facebook, and we wouldn't release a song without a clip. So we did, I think, 8 clips in a row over 2 years or 3 years, and that really gained a following. And we'd also play live and play unreleased material, so people could only hear that when they'd come to the show. And so we created a community around us and a buzz.
But the quality of your videos is so high. Is it because your experience with what you've studied that it's helped you like produce them? Because you didn't have record companies to start with, did you?
No, I mean it's a lot of collaboration and working with friends. But we started End of the Earth. The first clip was found footage Harvey had been collecting, and then we got a little handy cam and filmed ourselves on a green screen. So we like to work in different spheres, and we've done low budget VHS clips or big high budget clips with 30-person crews, and we kind of want to exist in multiple spaces, and I think we need to do a few more low budget ones again.
Yeah, it's we caught us up on ourselves at the moment with this kind of thing of like, we always outdo ourselves. And it's got to the point where, like, you know, we've been filming on a 747 jet with Tina Arena and driving limousines down Collins Street. And it's just like, you know, we could just keep on going down this road of trying to outdo ourselves. But I think, you know, we want to take a moment to say, oh, let's try some other ideas. And it doesn't have to be Monty hanging out of a hot air balloon getting shot by a sniper, you know, like... Let's just chill out.
Is that kind of cool then? You know, you said you've been in Europe a couple of times in the last 6 months or so. When you do, and you just said you had to start again, is that kind of nice then that if you do want to step back and reconsider how you are heard and seen, that it is a nice thing to maybe have to start again and you can calculate it a little, manipulate the, you know...
Well, it brings you back to reality a bit. I mean, we turn up in Europe and we open our cases and we're like, what is this in our live gear? And we have to move the live gear and plug it in and reconnect to it. And you focus on the core, which is writing and music and performance. So yeah, that's always great. You're constantly being shifted in headspaces as a musician, because one moment you're performing, but then you have to go back to the studio, then you have to make a video. Yeah. And just as you get comfortable, you get forced out of that spot and get put into the next one. Yeah. Yeah. But it's actually very healthy.
Now, the look that you create, like with the clothes you wear, is like a real throwback, but with a twist to it as well. You've now started a clothing line. How did that come about?
We were just a bit frustrated with how one-dimensional merchandise can be, just simply slapping a logo on a T-shirt, and we wanted to do a bit more than that. So designing something from the ground up, which is what we've done with our fashion line, means there's much more scope for designing, the graphic application, the cut, the weight of the fabric, all these kinds of things. So yeah, we launched it at Sydney Fashion Week, and it's available online at the moment, and we've had pop-up stores around the country, Sydney and Melbourne, and they'll continue on towards summer this year, so there'll be more drops coming down, and it's Client Liaison Deluxe line with the acronym CLDL, and yeah, you can jump online and check it out.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
And like you're not stopping there. So clothing line, like your videos, even though you're going to cut back a little bit, maybe. So you hadn't decided that yet.
That's a discussion for later.
Better ideas. Yeah.
But now you're doing your own expo.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Again, it's the limitations of touring in venues, and they won't allow you to do exactly what you want to do. So we always want to put on the biggest, best show. And then we said, well, why don't we find our own spaces? And then we're like, well, why don't we actually put on a festival and put on a whole day's entertainment with our favorite acts? And we've got things like ice sculptors and wood choppers and dessert buffet. And so we're calling it Expo Liaison, and we've got an amazing lineup of acts, and we've got John Farnham as a special guest, who's our hero.
Wow.
So it'd be pretty amazing.
How did you get him to do it?
A lot of long lunches followed by cocktails with his manager, Glenn Wheatley. We've become good friends with Glenn Wheatley, and he's a formidable force in the Australian music industry, fascinating man. And yeah, we've become really close with him. So, you know, we've always had a working relationship with Glenn as a bit of a mentor. So when this idea was brewing, you know, we were on the phone to Glenn.
There's also a precedent we set. We brought out Daryl Braithwaite at Beyond the Valley, and he performed Horses with us. And then Tina Arena, who we did the song Foreign Affair with, she came on stage at Splendour and performed with us. So there's kind of a format there that we're playing to.
But what a risk. It's a huge risk to put on your own one-day festival, right, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a financial risk, but we're all about that. Yeah, just opening. I mean, it's the beauty of it is, again, people can enter our world from the moment they step onto the site, and it's not just our show, it's what you eat and drink and experience and wear, and you can dress up, and our clothes will be for sale there, and
right. Look, I just want to really congratulate you on what you've achieved so far, and just keep on doing what you're doing, because I think there's going to be world domination one day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to the JoyFM and the listeners, because you guys have always supported us. You know, it's come in here when we've got something new to share with you, so thank you. We appreciate it.